the College of Management and Mahidol University, Thailand. And in this lecture, I'm going to share with you my interpretation of SDG number 8, which is economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Well, this particular aspect of the SDG is very important because the economic growth can be a positive force for change, and this is important for all of us. We understand that the power of economy is extremely important for change in our society, and we must protect and expand the workforce at the same time. So in this particular SDG, first, we are talking about how to really create the ecosystem for growth in the economy. And that started from the quality of labor, the system that you provide protection and fairness for the labor. And at the same time, you think of how to expand and grow the economy through innovation, technology, and policies that promote efficiencies at home. And another aspect is also how to really create the vibe that you can promote decent economy, not only in the urban but also rural, and you can also expand to people from all walks of life. So that's the whole idea of this particular SDG. It is important because we will really need to understand the fact that sustainable economic growth will create good and positive environment. It will also contribute to good health. It also contribute and make a difference to equity worldwide. Okay, when it comes to productive employment and decent work for all, we are talking about the fact that we are trying to reduce gaps between the rich and the poor, and we create the environment whereby people can enjoy resources and also be able to work and rely upon themselves. So this is very important. So what is going to actually include in this? If you look at these statistics from the United Nations, we are talking about issues such as now that we are facing a number of challenges, COVID-19, policy, and uncertainties. We are living in uncertain time when it comes to economic growth. So, for example, new wave of COVID-19 or different types of pandemic could be the challenge for economic growth. Risings of the inflation worldwide could happen, as well as the disruption in supply chain system. Of course, we are talking about policy, which we refer to trade and labor policy that come with uncertainties, and the labor market challenges that also include unfair system for men and women or young girls and boys who shouldn't be at workplace, but they were forced as in the forms of modern slavery kind of work in global trade. In terms of global unemployment, we understand that after the COVID-19 crisis, this issue become problematic, and it's quite daunting to see that 1 in 10 children are engaged in child labor worldwide. And this is something that we need to work together to promote the concept of decent work. Last but not least is on the productivity in terms of how can we create a wide and ability, efficiency for laborers worldwide, and that can be achieved through the mechanisms of innovation, education and training, as well as the policy that help them to really gain long-term development and gain skills that are relevant to the future work. So these are the nutshell of SDG 8. But to see this from the target perspective, let's have a look at this. Well, there are actually 8 targets in order to achieve SDG 8, but I sort of pinpoint and combine some of them into one. Let's start from sustainable economic growth. We understand that SDG 8 can be achieved through the mechanisms of sustainable economic growth, whereby growth come in steady and the fair share of growth can be in equal rate all over the world. But at the same time, you need to embrace and create the diversity of workforce and new job. We're talking about future of work that would require innovation and that can really create value. we also think about policy to support SMEs. Since in most part of the world, including in this part of the world, in Southeast Asia, we look at the fact that SMEs, small, medium enterprises, can become the backbone of our economy. So without the system that promote efficiencies and looking at how innovation and ideas can be used and implemented to identify the quality of SME, there is going to be no way that economy worldwide can be grown at the same rate. In terms of resources efficiency and sustainable consumption and production, well, they come hand in hand. Since if you think of the fact that we need to create good, decent jobs that provide opportunities to people all over the world, resources has to be the lever, and the supply chains has to be sort of systematically tested and examined via the global standard. SCP, in that sense, we are talking about the fact that producer, as in mega million companies, perhaps from the developed countries, should be able to create the idea and action on sustainable production, looking at green technology, and perhaps looking at sustainable supply chain in order to prolong the level of productivity in home country. At the same time, the consumption pattern has to be rediscussed among us if we need a long-term sustainable kind of job and production. And last but not least is on equality and equity. We cannot achieve the concept of sustainable economy and growth without providing the fair share of productivity to people from all walks of life. So if you look at the fact that now a number of countries worldwide try to create the ecosystem of work where people of men, women, different genders, as well as those who may not be protected by law, for example, migrant workers or those from the marginalized background, now they have to be embraced. And the system has to be created to support this group in order to create the long-term benefit of economic growth and decent work at the same time. So in conclusion, this SDG in itself is very important for the growth of global economy, and it will also help us to foresee challenges that might happen from economic disruption, pandemic, war, as well as the lack of resources in the future. So the good way to look at this is if we plan this project idea and action together, not only at the national but at the international level, we are going to enjoy the level of consumption and the productivity in the long run.